Good morning, Grace. Happy Sunday to you all. I'm so happy that you joined me this morning. Many times when we're growing up, our parents teach us about strangers, that maybe we shouldn't be talking to strangers. And today, in our Spark Story Bible, they use the term stranger for Jesus. And I think that that's really interesting. And I think what they're trying to get at is those who are inside, those who are known and are a part of our group, and those who are outside. And one of the things that Jesus is trying to do in all of his ministry is to bring people together, to connect people to community, to build relationships, and to make friends. So another way of maybe thinking about this is when you are in school and you are playing, and you're playing with your friends, and maybe someone new joins class, and they ask if they can join in and play with you. And maybe you say, sure, come and play. That is the best answer that you could answer, because then you learn about someone new, you make a new friend, and that person who gets welcomed feels really good. In the same way, maybe you've been new before and you've had to make new friends on the playground. If you've ever had to do that, you know how hard it is and how much you're just wishing you could belong in a group of friends and join in the game. Also, we could be, playing with a group of friends. Someone new asks to come and join our group, and we could say, no, we don't want you to play with us. And just imagine what it would feel like to be that stranger, that person who was turned away on the playground, that you didn't want to play with them, you didn't want to invite them in. And so in that same sort of way, we imagine Jesus in our story today, using this word stranger. And so before we read out of our Spark Story Bible, I'm going to invite your family to pause the video, and I want you to discuss a time when you felt like a stranger, where you felt like the one who was being left out, who wasn't being invited into community. And then wonder a little bit deeper. Was there anyone who saw you in that moment of being a stranger and invited you in? How did that feel? So on one side, how did it feel to be left out? And then on the other side, how does it feel to belong or to be welcomed in? I think Jesus is always calling us to be the ones to welcome, to befriend, and to build community. And so with that, pause this and discuss with your families. Welcome back. Thank you for discussing together. Hopefully it will put us in the right mindset for the story that we're reading today. If you would open your Spark Story Bible to page 488, I'll begin to read The Road to Emmaus. 3 days after Jesus died, Cleopas and his friend were slowly walking down the road to Emmaus. They were walking slowly because they felt very sad. Why did Jesus have to die? They wondered. After a while, a stranger began to walk along with them. The stranger was really Jesus, but Cleopas and his friends didn't know it. "What are you talking about?" the stranger asked. The men looked at each other. "Are you the only person in town who doesn't know what just happened?" They told the stranger what had happened to Jesus. "Jesus was a great teacher," Cleopas said. "We hoped he was the one God promised would save the world, but instead he died on a cross. We took Jesus' body down and put it in a tomb. This morning, our friends went to the tomb, but Jesus' body was gone. They said there was an angel there instead. The angel told our friends Jesus is alive. But stop being silly, the stranger said. How many times do you need to hear this? It was God's plan for Jesus to die and become alive again to save the world. By now, they were almost to Emmaus. Cleopas invited the stranger to stay for dinner. During dinner, the stranger picked up a loaf of bread, broke it, blessed it, and gave each man a piece. All of a sudden, Cleopas and his friend recognized the stranger. It was Jesus. But then Jesus disappeared. Cleopas and his friend jumped up, ran from the room, and went to tell the rest of Jesus' disciples that Jesus really was alive. God kept another promise. The question on the bottom of this page is this: if you saw Jesus walking down the road, who would you tell? And what would you say? This story, the road to Emmaus, is an interesting one. Jesus being the stranger walking along with these disciples, these followers of Jesus, who described to him who he was. And they still don't understand that Jesus did foretell that he would die and in 3 days he would rise again. And here he was with them. But it's not until they're eating together and Jesus breaks the bread, blesses it, and gives it to the men that they even notice that it's Jesus. And so it's in this really, really ordinary experience of sharing a meal together that they recognize Jesus. There's times in worship where we break bread together. Holy Communion, some of you probably participated in that, and others of you look forward to a time when you can also join in and have the bread and wine of Holy Communion. But there are other ways, other ordinary ways where we feel that God is present. There's some pretty extraordinary times in our lives where we'll feel that Jesus is present as well. So this is what I'd like you to discuss with your family today. In what ways have you felt, seen, heard, touched, tasted Jesus' presence in ordinary ways? In ways that are maybe unexpected because they're so ordinary? And in what ways have you experienced God in extraordinary ways? In experiences that stop you in your tracks. Jesus appears to us in many ways. We have to keep our eyes open for those experiences. Our hearts must be open to experiencing those things. It might be in the presence of someone else that we feel God's presence with us. Maybe it's in a song we've heard, or the taste of our favorite meal cooked by our mom or our grandma. Whatever it is, there's a story that we can share. So I invite you to share this story with your friends and your family that are gathered with you today. And I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the nice weather that we're having. And I'll catch you next time.